Hello there, this is actually a video response to the Appreneurs discussion on the strike in LA. As an Uber driver, I find it kind of hard to understand why these people want to be employees. And, you know, this is an entrepreneurial thing. I'd much rather be an independent contractor than an employee. My first thought is, if they want to be employees, then why aren't they out driving taxis and stuff? I don't get it. As far as fuel, I think that was brought up in the strike video. I don't know about down in California, but up here we have Uber credit cards that give us a pretty decent fuel discount. And then also we get so many other perks with our Uber card. So if that's something California Uber drivers don't get, that's baffling. As far as health insurance and other things, I get my health insurance through Uber. You know, it's fairly affordable up here, and I do live in Idaho, so it may be a lot different than California. But my thing is, Uber is a choice. I've been an Uber driver since they've come to Idaho about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And, you know, starting out, you know, we had to work for free for a long time because, you know, they wouldn't, you know, get the legislation through. We had to show the state that, you know, this is a service that we wanted to do. And the rates have come down, but the benefits have gone up. I think if you're a diamond driver and everything, I think that 6% increase has helped a lot. You know, it's still, no, it's not the rates that it was when we first started, but the volume is so much better. And that might not be the case in California. And there's just so much freelance entrepreneur things out there that there's so many choices. The other thing I was really puzzled by was that the hate for Amazon. And I don't know why you think the company is so evil. I've always had great success with Amazon. I write Kindle books. I do a lot of stuff. And, you know, I do YouTube too, not to the extreme that you do. I mean, I definitely don't have as many followers and subscribers as you. I do it more leisurely, but I do things for Amazon. You know, we just got our first hub here, and I was pretty excited, and I'm sure that pay is going to go down. It already has. You know, I went from making about, you know, $1,600 a month to, you know, I barely get 100 or 200. And it's like, but it's just great to have these choices and opportunity and work for yourself. And as an Uber driver, I've made a livable income. I think when we first started actually getting paid, once the legislation was passed that we could do ride sharing in Idaho, I was averaging about $35 an hour. Now, since then, our driver pool is growing because it is a supply and demand thing. But it's been really good. I still make over $25 an hour. And then with the added benefits and everything else, it really is, to me, it's a great opportunity. And again, it's an opportunity. It's a choice. It's not a right. You know, if you want the right, I say there's tons of companies that you can work for. Again, I know that there's still cab companies in the LA area that you can probably work for, or other areas of work that they've worked in before. So I don't think, honestly, that the strike is going to be long-term effective. And then I heard a lot of chanting about the IPO. Does anybody know that the Uber actually wanted to give stocks to drivers, especially long-term, well-ranking drivers? They filed the forms with the SEC to do that, and the SEC turned them down because we're not employees, which is understandable. That's the rules. But to think that Uber's this greedy super corporation, and the same with Amazon, I just don't get it. Is it just because you don't get an easy share of the pie? I mean, as an Uber driver, I did have to work really hard and that to build up, you know, my area, know my area, and know what worked and didn't work. It was a learning curve. But still, this is my business, you know. And honestly, I think, you know, customer service has always treated me well. I mean, if you have questions about the rates and the fares, instead of standing on the street corner, I would just email bomb through the app. And that's probably a bad suggestion, but if you all were just to challenge the fares that you get, challenge every fare and say, hey, this is not the right, this is what I need for this fare. Maybe that's the solution for you guys. And I would agree that, you know, 60 cents, is that what I think you said on the video that you get per mile? That is pretty cheap, and especially for California and that. But you guys, I don't know how many drivers use all the perks, because, you know, for me, it's like a 20 to 30% savings on fuel. So, and then oil changes and maintenance and everything. So, again, it's supply and demand. If there's that many drivers there, maybe that's part of the issue. If there's more drivers and that, so everybody gets a little piece of the pie, maybe some people need to figure other areas to work in. I mean, you did mention at the very beginning of the strike video about the surge that happened. You know, maybe as coming together and working as a team, maybe it's more strategic to offset the hours and create a schedule with each other to maintain that surge. Maybe that's a solution. I don't know, but it's just hard for me to hear people knock an opportunity that came to them, because this isn't something. And then again, it's America. You can go start your own company. You could still go on Craigslist. They still have a rideshare section there, and you could do your own thing. I mean, you have to get your own insurance and, you know, commercial insurance and everything, you know, or take the risk, you know, sign a liability waiver and with your riders and stuff. But there's still opportunity there. I've done that in the past before Uber came to my state. Was I would do ride sharing through Craigslist, but I think the app makes it so much easier. And to be able to be paid instantly if you want, you know, there's just so many opportunities there. And here locally, there's so many local vendors that support Uber and restaurants that give us discounts or even free food or free coffee. You know, I think as a group and a power structure, that it'd be better for you guys to do that. Maybe find strategic gas stations and say, hey, Uber drivers will just come to these stations if you give us X amount of gas discount. I mean, that's what I do, just as a personal level, is I got 2 gas stations that I use, and it's because they always give me, besides my Uber discount, another, you know, 4 cents off a gallon, which is really good. So I really think that there has to be more thought, and if you want to be an employee, then you should get a job. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being an employee at all. But, you know, go to places that are employees. You know, taxi drivers, bus drivers, truck drivers. You know, I don't know what else to say, because I think it's kind of misleading. And if that's happening there, maybe that's what you need to be talking to your regional managers about of Uber, and sending emails up the chain of command through the app. Because I tell you what, when I have a problem, I definitely do it, and I definitely get a response. In fact, I got one time where somebody from corporate had called me because I'd sent it so way up and kept repeating thing, and finally got a call back from corporate about it. And it was just handled really professionally. So I know that, you know, every state's different as far as their Uber laws and taxation on Uber. We're fortunate here right now that we don't have taxes on Uber, and we don't have taxes on Airbnb, and we don't have taxes on Lyft, and a lot of other things. But I think that the bigger picture has to be there, you know. As far as Uber as an IPO, I don't know. I think it would have been cool if they were able to give drivers shares. I am kind of sad that the SEC turned that down, because I think that would have even shown more loyalty to drivers. But I think sometimes drivers, even around here, forget that they're working for themselves. They're the boss, you know, and that their responsibility, and there's no guarantee. I mean, there are nights when, you know, I may only get 3 or 4 rides, and weeks where I may only make $300 or $400. But you know what? There's other weeks where I make a lot more than that. You know, my average is probably around $900 a week. And, you know, that, unfortunately, that is a good livable wage here in Idaho. You know, and if you're making the same there, well, maybe that's the problem that we need to address, is that they need to charge the people there more. And they need to raise their rates. Or maybe somebody within the group needs to create their own rideshare app. Because, you know, there's Sidecar, Vio, and Lyft. I mean, no, there's, out of the pool of people that live in the LA area, there's got to be 2 or 3 smart people there that can make a ride-sharing app. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to find out they're going to have to have the same things as Uber does, you know. It's because, you know, insurance is expensive, you know, PR is expensive, you know, offices are expensive, you know. Building that infrastructure, you know, it didn't happen overnight. And there's still some learning curves with Uber. You know, it's still a fairly young company at 10 years, you know. But that's what's on my mind in my rebuttal, you know, is remember, you have choice. That's what's great about this country. And I've always been an entrepreneur, and 1099 has always been my form of income. I did work in corporate America for a corporate company, and as I saw more and more freelance jobs come out, it was like it was a no-brainer. And, you know, that was one of the things that brought me to your channel, was that, you know, that ideology of doing things. So I'm sorry to hear all the pessimism in that. But I think that control, you got to control what you can control. And I think that's what entrepreneurship does, is it allows you to be in control. And the only way to be in control is to do something. And if it's not working for you, then leave it and find something else that works for you. If Lyft is better, I have friends that say Lyft is better, and I'm like, no, well, Uber's working for me. So if it's not broken, I don't try to fix it. But I do wish all you the best of luck down there, because I know the cost of living is bad, because a lot of Californians that move here just complain about the cost. But how you change that is just, I guess, get rid of everybody wanting to live there. I mean, it's a beautiful place where you guys lived. I lived in Van Nuys for a while, and it's a beautiful area, you know. And there's a reason why it costs more there, you know. And there's other places in the country to live that are cheaper, and you can do better with Uber, you know. Same with the gentleman that from Seattle that I forget it, Uber tips. I mean, which he gives really great tips, and it's, you know, Seattle is a very expensive place, and I don't think it's all about the evil corporation. I think it's what you do with it, and I think that it supplies a lot of opportunities again. I think we're licking a gift horse in the mouth sometimes when I look at a lot of drivers that come and go. But anyway, that's my bit. What's on my mind. Y'all take care and be safe out there when you are driving. Bye.